Hello, everybody. So glad to see you. I'm glad to have all of you here today. We are running with scissors. It's Thursday again, and we're going to have some fun with paper and ink. I'm so glad that we've hit the end of the month already, and we're going to be going into July and hot weather, which means it's time to get into your craft rooms and craft some more, right? There's always a good excuse for crafting in this time of year. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's because it's too hot. For any of my friends that are down in the Southern Hemisphere, of course, it's because it's getting to be a little cold down there, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm so glad you're all here. I'm glad to see a whole bunch of people popping into the chat. Don't forget to say hello. And if you're new with us, tell us where you're from. I'd love to know. We have friends that visit from all around the world, and you could be one of our friends too. So pop in your where you're located. Maybe tell us a little bit about your weather today. We're always curious about what the weather's like in your neck of the woods. We had some crazy storms here last night. We're going to have more crazy storms here tonight and probably Friday night too. So we're just kind of hunkering down and hoping to get through each night. You wake up in the middle of the night to some big crazy thunderstorm and maybe not get back to sleep. I feel like I'm a little bit tired today because we had some crazy thunderstorms last night, and it wasn't the lightning wasn't bad, but the thunder was really boomy and percussive, and it woke me up quite a few times. And then we had huge downpours of rain, but we really needed it, so I'm not complaining too much. And we didn't lose any trees or anything, so that's always a good thing. Anyway, so I see you're all joining in. Sue's got some sunny and nice weather. Anne says it's beautiful and Indy. I bet you got some of that rain that we got too. It's probably blown over you for now though. And we've got Becca. She's probably out on her, maybe she's going out on her pontoon this weekend. I don't know if you're going to have great weather for that or not. Fingers crossed though, because I know what it's like when you want to go out and do something that the weather just doesn't cooperate. So I hope you get a chance to go out and enjoy some time on your pontoon this weekend, Becca. Right. And we've got Cece out there, and let's see who else. That's all I'm seeing at the moment, but I'm so glad you're all out here. Like I said, if you are new to this stream, I stream every Thursday at 4 p.m. US Central. And we're always doing a fun, crafty project with all sorts of stamps and inks and different companies. I don't stick to one brand. We explore all sorts of creative things. I do requests and all that kind of stuff. We've been doing a lot of what I call stamp focus. So each month we've been picking a stamp set to use, and we get 4 or 5 different ideas on how to use that stamp set. So that way when you're buying a stamp set, you've got lots of ideas on how to use it. So this month we decided to do a mix and match. And what I did was take all of the stamp sets from the first 6 months of the year, or 5 months of the year, and we've been mixing and matching them together to create fun new projects. So today is the last day for that. And we're going to have some fun doing some distress oxide blending, which is awesome. I know some folks have problems with that. So if you have questions about distress oxide blending, of course, pop them in the comments. I will see them both if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube. And you'll actually see each other's comments as we go through, because they will eventually show up on each side. So you won't miss out on much of the conversation. It might be a little delayed, but you'll see it come through. So it doesn't matter which side of the house you're on, you're going to get all of the good conversation from today. All right, so let's start today with some cards to share. We had some folks that were playing around with projects from this month, and as I find them out on social media and you tag me with your projects, I like to share them back in our live stream here, so you might be seeing some of your projects. So let's take a look at what we've got. All right, so we're going to start with Cece, who says that the weather is really nice in her part of Sweden. And she was playing around with last week's project, and look at what she's got going on here. This is one of my favorite patterned papers from the Altenew Black and White Essentials paper pack. I love the gradient dots. They're called halftone circles, I believe. And so she's messing around with that, and she did a really great job with her repeat stamping white on black. It's looking fabulous. So Cece, I don't know if you posted the finished card, but I would love to see it when you have it posted. All right, and then we had Penny, and she's all the way down in Australia, and she's been catching up on a couple of projects. I asked her where she'd been lately because we've been missing her, and it is getting to be winter time there, and you know, it's hard to get out of bed when it's so cold outside and it's nice and snuggly under the covers. So I can't blame her for missing all of our live streams. It's like I think 5 o'clock in the morning for her at that point in time. So she's more than welcome to be in bed for sure. So anyway, she's been catching up, and this is one of the projects that she created. And I love the way that she used the this different sprig of flowers. I can't remember what this one is called. I know I've used it before, but I don't remember what it's called. And she did some really pretty, simple coloring on it. And then used the positive vibe stamp set on the background. And I love this. This really turned out nice. And you really can't tell, is that a mask? Is it stamped? I know it's stamped because that's the way that we did the technique, and that's how it turns out. It looks really fabulous. Love the results there, Penny. And then she also shared this project, which was the last week of last month. And she did a beautiful rainbow project. Absolutely gorgeous. She went for a black stripe on the back, so she's got black on black. I'm sure in person it looks really great. It's kind of hard to see it here, but I know that you'd be able to read it without any problem. So it looks really nice. So great job on your projects there, Penny. And then we've got some other projects that Sue shared, and she was catching up on some of the black and white stamping that we've been doing as well. And I think she said this one was on green cardstock and then this one's on black, and they're both absolutely beautiful. So good job. And you know, I really like your stamp selection on this. This is, oh, I can't think of the name of it. I know I've got this one too. Retro Plantains, maybe? I can't remember, but it looks really great. And I think these background images are from that same set. They're like some of the centerpieces and stuff. I really like the vibe you've got going on here. And then she also shared a cupcake stamp with the white chalk background as well. And this was one of the first projects that we did this month, and it's so cute. So I really, really enjoyed your projects. Yay! So, whirlwind through all of our fun projects this week that everyone's been sharing. So don't forget that as we are going through today's project, if you are inspired by it, that you can go out and share it on social media. And I will find your projects and share them right here with the live stream. All right, so I've got just a few quick announcements. Oh, so Sue, yes, says Retro Plantains, and she got it because of me. It's a really great stamp set, and I need to pull it out and use it again. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of quick announcements. And let's see. Just wanted to make sure that everything's running properly. I think we're looking good here. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure everything was running good. All right, so some announcements. All right, so July, we decided that we're going to do a techniques focus. We're going to do background stamps. So pull out any and all of your background stamps. Any of the projects that we do, you'll be able to do with any kind of background stamp. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And so I'm just calling it a techniques focus because we're going to focus on cool techniques with background stamps. And I've already got a few of the projects done, and they are really, really cool. We're going to be mixing and matching with oxides and let's see, watercolor paper and embossing and all sorts of really cool techniques that are going to help your backgrounds shine. And sometimes maybe we'll be cutting them up and using the backgrounds as part of an element instead of as a background. Lots of really cool things that we'll be doing with backgrounds next month. All right. So, okay, there we go. The next thing, of course, I always appreciate you using my affiliate links. I've got everything listed down below that we'll be looking at and using today. If you have any questions on any of the products, of course, you can leave comments in today's discussion areas, and I'll answer them along the way as I see them go through. If I happen to miss something along the way, just go ahead and drop me an email and I'd be happy to answer your questions one-on-one. And then, of course, the affiliate links. When you click on those links and you shop, I might receive a small commission, and that's always at no additional cost to you. And that's what I use to offset all the expense of running a channel like this and all the equipment and everything that I use to create these really fun videos. So I appreciate each and every time you use those affiliate links. It really does make a difference. So thank you. All right, and then the last announcement that I have is about our crafting community. Now, you might notice if you were watching last week, I kind of unveiled the logo. Well, I've changed the name, and so that's why I haven't really started it officially yet, and we're just kind of rolling into different phases of it, but you will be hearing more about this as we go into the coming weeks. It is called Bloom, and it's a crafting community. It's going to be more than just techniques and how-tos and tutorials. It's going to give you that next step up that you need to feel more confident about creating your own original projects and about sharing your work on social media, whether you want to just share them on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest, or you're interested in doing videos, or you're interested in doing what I do. Any level will be welcome, and you will learn so much along the way. We're going to have question and answer nights throughout the month. We're going to have maybe some projects in there as well. Information and discussion about your mindset and getting over things like imposter syndrome or just confidence in creating. And we'll talk about techniques and color and design and sketching and where to find inspiration and how to be inspired by yourself and not always copying. It's going to be a really amazing community, and I'm very excited to bring it to you guys. So make sure that you go down below and click on that subscribe link so that way you can join on my newsletter and get more information as this becomes available to you. All right. Yes, exactly, Paula. Letting your crafting bloom and grow. You know, I was calling it the practice, and I felt like it was just kind of meh. I mean, I knew what it meant and what it means to me, but I thought that it needed to be something more uplifting. So that's why I did a whole search for words that I thought would work well, and bloom just came to mind. And so I'm really excited about the change and about where we're going to be going with this. So keep it keep posted, and I will I'll keep you guys posted on all of the upcoming information on that. Okay, I was distracted because I see that Penny is joining us, so glad to have you out there, Penny. Good morning. Okay, so hey, enough blah blah blah, let's get to some fun stuff here. Okay, so today, oh, I've got a really cool thing for you today. I'm not going to spoil it. When we get to it, you're going to see it and be like, oh, this is so awesome. Okay, but for today, this is the project we're doing. We're going to use Positive Vibes, and we're going to do some ink blending with Distress Oxides. But here's what I love about this. This is the white ink, and do you see what happens to it? It kind of takes on the color underneath it and turns into almost like a bleach technique. So it will look kind of like it's bleached because it's going to suck up that color into the white, and you can do some really cool bokeh looks and some spatter. It's really, really neat. You're going to be in love with this technique, and I can't wait to see what you do with this, because color choices and stamps and all that will make such a different look. But the technique will remain. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this. Okay, so this is our project for today. And look what I have. I've got my swatches. So I went to my swatch catalog, and I knew that I wanted to do a fun summery color set. So I started looking into my colors, and this is what I came up with. I came up with orange, pink, and yellow. So I've got mustard seed, ripe persimmon, and picked raspberry. So those are the three colors that I'm using. And you will, of course, be able to use whatever colors that you have on hand. Like I said, I'm using the Distress Oxides. You can try this technique with the Distress inks, but you probably won't get the ink transference, the color transference through the white. Okay. All right, so let's see. We've got a second Aussie. We've got Julie's, and Penny wants to know where you're from. So maybe you guys can connect. That'd be really cool. All right. So I'm so glad to have some new folks here. If you are out there and you've been lurking, I would love to hear from you. So just pop a little comment in just to say hello and tell us where you're from. All right. So let me show you. We're going to start with the ink blending. So I'm going to move a few of these things out of the way. Okay. I talked for a long time today. Sorry about that, guys. I know you don't mind, but I feel like it's just a whole lot of talk and all you want to do is get to the craft. So I try to like respect that. Okay, so I wanted to show you a organization technique, not technique, organization hack, whatever you want to call it. A way to organize your distress foams. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my hands here. I wonder if that'll work. Okay, maybe not. All right, so this is just a 6x6, not a 6x6, 6x8, 8x8 scrapbook, right? Okay, it's by Simple Stories. They have tons of different ones that have like different colored panels on the sides. Sometimes they're seasonal, so like I don't think you can get just the plain craft one anymore, but I have ones with different colored bindings on the sides. All right, and then I get the Instagram dividers here. Okay, so this is like if you were going to do pocket scrapbooking. All right, but I'm doing this with my ink pads, all right, for all of my blending. So as you can see, I only use one side because the other side is going to get gunk on it, right? So I don't ever want two foams to kiss because then the color will transfer. And I don't bother wiping them off. As you can see, I'm going to get color all over the inside and what have you. So I went through and I used the Jennifer Maguire template for these because it was easy to do. She'd already done it and I was like, thanks, Jennifer. So I went in and I printed them all out and I cut them out and then I stamped the color behind, which you really don't even need to do. And you'll see in some cases I have a foam in here, but I don't have it stamped yet. And then I just add a clear Velcro on here. All right, so see there's a little Velcro dot. And then my foam will stick right to it. All right, super awesome. And it works great. So I've got all of my Distress Oxides. This book here is just Distress Oxides. I have another book that is just for Distress Inks. Because if you start mixing your foams, your Distress Oxides and your Distress Inks, the oxide will go into your ink. That's whatever's left over on here and it will, it'll mess with it. All right. So, so yeah, this is my Distress Oxides book. And today I need mustard seed, ripe persimmon, and picked raspberry. So let me grab those. Picked raspberry. And I have two different handles. So the black ones are the Ranger handles, and the gray ones are the scrapbook.com handles. They are exactly the same. They have the loop on the ends, just exactly the same. There is really no difference. Actually, the Ranger ones have a little bit of a foam bit here that makes it a little more squishy, which is good. But really they're the same. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I just happen to have both. And then I have two different styles of foam pads in here. I have the domed foam blenders, and then I have the flat ones. The flat ones are by Ranger, and the domed ones here are by scrapbook.com. And I like the domed ones, but I only use them with oxides for two reasons. One, because they're a different kind of foam, and I don't like the way the foam works with the regular ink. Because the oxides are creamier, these are a little more forgiving. And two, these foams from scrapbook.com, they squeak. It's a different kind of foam material than the Ranger ones, and it makes a squeaky noise, and it really drives me crazy with regular ink, but with the oxides, it's not as bad. So I use the domed ones for my oxides. I use the flat ones for my regular inks, but I have a couple in here before. Those are from before the oxide, the domed ones came out from scrapbook.com. Okay, so I've got that one. I need, I'm so chatty today. Ripe persimmon. So these are kind of in color-ish order. All right, so right persimmon and then mustard seed. And then let me just show you, like in the back here, this one is blank. I need to make up some new squares to label these back here. These are the 4 new colors. And I just got the flamingo, so that one will go back here. So instead of like trying to reorder these and fit them in, I'm just adding the new colors in the backs. So yeah. Okay, Paula asks, can you use the Altenew brushes with the oxides? Yes, absolutely. You certainly can. Although, again, I would caution you against mixing oxides and traditional dye inks, because that oxide will get into your brush, and when you go to use a regular ink, then it'll get that milky oxide ness to it, you know, so you would just want to be careful to not mix them. So I think that's probably why I use the foam blenders, because they're economical, they're easy to change in and out. I've got them all stored right here, and they work really well, especially with the distress oxides. So that's probably why I'm still using these, because it really just makes sense. So okay, so Ms. Tamp is in awe at clear Velcro. You can find clear Velcro at like Joann Fabrics and other fabric stores, even in those small little 1/4 inch sizes. The only thing that bums me out about it is I've not been able to find just the loop end of it. I've only been able to find ones with the loop and the fuzzy side. So I have all of these fuzzy side little circles that I have no idea what to do with. So if anyone has any great ideas on what you can do with just the fuzzy side of Velcro, let me know. Okay, so here's our color combo. We're going yellow, orange, and then pink. All right, and this is where I'm going to unveil to you my new thing for today. Okay, so I have a 3rd camera. I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to flip over to the 3rd camera, and I see, Teresa, I see your question. Okay, so Teresa, you can find them on my YouTube channel. I think I've got a playlist called Color, but you'll find it under some of my most recent videos. I will, and I can also send you a link later. Okay. All right, so hey, look, it's a side view. So this way you can kind of see the action as it's happening if you've got questions as we go. And I'm just kind of like learning how to, or figuring out like how I want to adjust this. Like, do I want this closer? Do we want it closer? Yes, we want it closer, I think. So maybe that's even better. Oh, my voice hasn't, oh, I see it. Stand by on the echo. There. Okay. Did that get rid of the echo? That should have got rid of the echo. Okay. So I didn't realize that it was gonna like try to start an audio at the same time from my camera, which I did not want. Oh, come on, tighten up there. Hang on a second. There, I think that's even better. Okay, echo is gone, camera is adjusted. Okay, so now look at this great view you're going to get of this ink blending. Okay, so like the camera is literally right here. It's super close. All right, so we're doing mustard seed to start. All right, so you always want to start with, obviously with one color, but where it's going to be pure. So the mustard seed is going to be pure at the top here. And when I'm doing distress oxides, usually I want it to be really saturated. So look, I'm not afraid to just load up that brush. I mean, look at how it's just totally loaded. Just load it up. All right, so you want the paper to be this color. You don't want it to be white with a little bit of yellow on it. You want it to be super yellow. All right, and then as I'm getting down here into this next section, so the bright persimmon is going to come through about here, and in this section here is where I want it to blend. So now I'm going to lighten up the way that I'm doing this. especially if I have a lot of ink on here. And I'm just going to do a little bit of light. You can see that really well in the camera. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. What paper is best for oxides? Really, any paper that blends. I'm using the Accent Opaque white paper. This is the 80 pound, and I feel like it's a little better because it's got a tighter weave to it. When you get into 110 pound or 100 pound cardstock, a lot of times it is, it gets like a little bit of a looser weave, and that can be a problem. Okay, so I'm going into, well, not a problem per se, but you will see the weave a little bit more and it won't look as blendy, okay, right? So this is the Ripe Persimmon. All right, now I don't want to start here, all right, because that is where the blend is going to happen. I want to start in a clean spot, okay? And I'm going to flip us to another view because I've got... Ooh, okay, so let's see what you think of this view, guys. So this is a different split view. And you know what I want to do? Just stand by for a second here. I want to move this over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now you can see me from the top and you can see me from the side. I hope you guys, I think this is even better because now you're really getting a great view. And I can even zoom in on this one. Guys, I'm high tech. All right, so let me clean up this spot. Okay, so like I said, you don't want to start your blending right here where you finished. You want to start your blending in a clean white spot, okay? So yes, start in a clean spot and then move your way up and move your way down in your middle one here, okay? So center here, because see, look at, I loaded this brush up. If I loaded this brush up and started at the top here, I would have nowhere to go with it and you would end up running out your yellow, right? Okay, so here we go. And I might even have like too much on here because I was just like loading that up like crazy. So let me get some of that off. I'm just wiping it off on my rag here to get some excess off. All right, and now I'm going to start going up. A little bit lighter touch. And don't worry, we're going to come back and fix this line here. And then again, come down lower. And again, blend out that line. All right, so in this space here, I'm going to come back with my yellow. I'm not going to add anything to it. I'm just going to work that line a little bit more. All right. You can even go back and forth like this. If you're really trying to work out a hard line, like I kind of got there, it'll dry eventually. I'm not really too concerned about it. And we're going to stamp over it too. But you can go back and forth a little bit like that. Then you can pull that in. All right, so you see I'm going back and forth. You don't always see this when you're watching a technique video, right? Because we edit a lot of things out. Okay, so right now it doesn't look so great. There's like a little bit of a line here. This is going to dry a little bit. All right, and from the side it really looks kind of yucky, but don't worry about it. All right, I'm flipping it over because I'm going to go for the pink. All right, so we've got picked raspberry. Yes, it looks like candy corn, totally. Well, we're going to add in some pink and then we're not going to have any problem with it. All right, so picked raspberry. And you don't have to flip it over. I just prefer to flip it over. And actually, it works better for the camera here. So that's just trying to find the best place for both. Okay, so I'm going to have to adjust this other camera a little bit for this view, but that's okay. All right, so again, I'm going to start from the top because this is where the pure pink is going to be. Okay. All right, once you have this color where you want it, then you're going to move it into the blended area. And blend those two colors together. All right, and if it doesn't look quite right, again, I can come back with my orange one and just kind of mix them a little bit more and get that softer blend. All right, then it needs to dry. Totally needs to dry. So this is, there's, like I said, a little spot here. It's already starting to fade. I'm not worried about it. All right, so set it aside, let it dry. Look at that beautiful color. All right, that's that. All right, well, I'm glad, hey, I'm glad that side view was a hit. All right, yay, I love it when technology works. Okay, clean up my space here, let this set aside and dry. And we're done with these guys. So again, I can then just take these and pop them right back into my kit here. Like I said, I don't even wipe them off or anything. They are just fine on their own. And then this goes back up on my bookshelf. And I've got it labeled on the side, Distress Oxides. It's good to go. Actually, what I need to do is put some brads on the side here so I can put a little rubber band to keep it closed, because it's, when it's full, it likes to flare out. So I'll put a little rubber band here and keep that closed, and that'll be super helpful. So a little organization tip, some fun with blending. Excellent. Okay, so while we're waiting for that little piece to dry, let's do some stamping. Now, let me tell you, I love this little stamp. It comes from the Just Because stamp set. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. I need to grab my mini blossom. All right. So, but here's the problem. The die for this stamp is solid. All right, so we want to make sure that we actually die cut it first and then stamp it, because you'll never get it aligned because you can't see through it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this through the mini blossom. I need a piece of... Okay. See if you clicked on the link and the pockets are discontinued, let me know and I will take a look and see if I can find a alternative. And yes, and coin collector pockets work really well. I will see if I can find some that fit in that particular size, because I really do like the smaller size book, although you could do a 6 by or a regular 8.5 by 11 book, and that would be just fine too. It just depends on your storage and what you prefer, right? Okay, so that's all we need for die cutting. All right, and Dimitri is like all around my legs today. He's inconsolable. Oh, the cat's life. Okay, so I've got this here, which is really great. Trying to stamp on this little piece is almost impossible, right? So what I'm going to do is take that same little piece of Post-it tape and pop it behind my cutout here, and I'm going to put my piece of black right back in, right? And that's going to help me to line things up. All right. So we need to pick a sentiment, and I did You Inspire Me. So I'm going to change it up and do You Matter to Me. I'm getting some good ideas on what I can use those scraps of Velcro for, which would be great. I'll have to read up on those later. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and center that right in my right in there, and I don't think I did a good job of that. All right, so I'm going to get my head right over it. There we go. That looks a little better. All right, and I'm using white ink for this instead of, I could white heat emboss it as well, but I'm just going to go for the straight white ink, and these are the two we've been using all month. They're both fantastic white inks. All right, so let's do the scrapbook.com one today. And the key to stamping with white ink is that you just want to tap, tap. You don't want to get too much ink on the stamp because it will tend to halo around the letters. Ta-da. So there we go. All right. If you don't think it's dark enough, you can stamp it again, but again, you run the risk of it kind of haloing around it. So let me see if I can do that and if it works out. Do so at your own risk. So you see the second time it got just a little bit thicker, but I think it looks okay that way. All right. So that is that. We're going to use the little distress dots here as well from this stamp set, so it's not going too far. All right, when you're working with the white craft ink, if you haven't figured it out yet, it takes a little bit longer to dry. Sometimes you're going to want to heat set it because you just want to move on with your project. Other times you can just go ahead and set it aside. So I'll set this aside until we're ready to use it. Okay. Now we can go on to our blended piece here. The nice thing about this one, you could do it either direction. So actually, let me flip this one and see what we think. All right, so we're going to use Positive Vibes, and we're going to use just 2 stamps from this. We're going to do the outline stamp, and then we're going to do this A2 stamp here to get some detail in white. Oh my goodness, you guys are chatty today. Let's see, split view. You love the split view. Oh, Penny doesn't know what candy corn is. Penny, I'll have to send you some candy corn when we get to Halloween. It's gross. I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily it's gross. It's sugary. That's all it is. It's just sugar in a different form. Kind of a caramely, a soft caramely, but not very caramely sugar. It's just kind of weird. All right, so we're going to stamp these up in white. So I've got my outline here, and again, I'll use my scrapbook.com white. I've been trying to use both during the month so you guys can see that, like, really there's no difference between these two. All right. Let's see. Well, Pam, I'm glad to have helped you with your blending a little bit. Everybody that got some good tips from that, glad to hear it. Now remember too, your blend is going to look different now than it's going to look even later today or tomorrow once it's completely dry. It's going to get that kind of chalky finish to it, right? That's not going to happen immediately. It does take some time for that to happen. All right, so in this case, this outline is quite thin. So I'm okay with doing some light layers and stamping it a couple of times until I get it looking the way I really want it to. Ooh, there we go. Finally, that looks good. Nice and crisp. Let's see. Oh yes, the hook piece on the handles, Becca. Yeah, I just glue them back on too. So, all right. Julie's will be back, I'm sure. She's got to take the kiddos to school. Grandkids, fun. All right, so now we're using A2, this one right here, just to get some detail on the flowers. I didn't want to go overboard, so we're not going to do any of the leaves, just the flowers. Now, this is not dry yet. You might want to hit it with your heat gun just to be safe. Make sure this is going the right direction. And then this detail piece just goes on like so. And it follows quite a few outlines, so it's pretty easy to get in place. Of course, it's always easier when you have your head right over it. So there we go. Got it all lined up. All right. And you know what, Ms. Tam, I think, yeah, you could totally staple the handle, staple the Velcro back in, totally. And I'm just realizing that my face video is not actually showing my face anymore. It must have frozen. I'm invisible. That's too funny. Okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's get some of this layer on here. So again, this is just one layer of the flower. And so this is going to add a little bit of white. It's going to pull that color through. Oh, ha, Ms. Tamp got distracted with the Conquer the Night sale. Yeah, I can't blame you. And what you'll see here is, see, look, it's already started to pull up some of that color. And then when this dries, it's going to pull the color the rest of the way through. So if that happens and you notice you get color on here, wipe it off if you're going to restamp. Because you don't want to contaminate your white pad. All right, so there we go. Okay, so that is it for Positive Vibes. Beautiful. No die cutting, nothing needed there. All right, and we're going to add in some distressing, some stamp distressing. So let me pop you a little closer. There we go. And I'm just going to turn, this is kind of bothering me a little bit. So I'm just going to turn that off because you can't see me anyway. All right, so we're going to use the little distress stamp here. And I'm going to just grab a Post-it note as a quick way to do some easy masking, just to make sure that I don't get anything on the flowers. All right, so again, we're using the white. All right, and then I want to just kind of mask off a little bit here. Actually, I really almost don't even really need to. I can get this in here. But if you're not feeling sure about it, you can always do a little mask. All right, so just some little dots there. And if I wanted a little bit more down here, that's where I want to do a mask, so I can get some of these bigger sized ones in there like that. All right. And then I want to mirror that kind of on the other side. I want that to continue through, so I'm going to put some in this little space here. And if I don't want them to come all the way out, again, I can just put the mask in place here. I'm actually doing a roll. So I'm rolling it down, but not all the way, so that this doesn't actually touch. All right, let me see. If we move to the side view here, if you can actually see that. Okay, so like if I wanted to put some more here, I can mask it, right? But say I don't want to put all of these on here. I'm starting up, and then I'm rolling it down a little bit, so I don't get like all the way. And that's all there is to it. You're just going to go like this and roll it, and you only roll as far as you want to go. Okay. So now we've got all those fun little dots there. Now, if we want to add some bouquet, oops, we're still going to use that, but we're going to use the dots from the Altenew layered cupcakes. Okay. So done with the Just Because. And we're going to grab these dots here. And I don't think I really want the big one. I guess I could use it if I want. I'm going to take my block here and I'll put the big one on, and then the medium one, and then the next one. But I'm really just going to do, I think, just maybe 3. I'm not going to get into the really super small ones. All right. Actually, this little teeny tiny one always runs away from me. Here we go. Okay. So with this one, though, I'm going to stamp off. So we'll ink it up. All right, I'm going to stamp it off. So I already have less ink on my pad, or on my stamp here. And then I'm just going to add these kind of up in the corner and let them fall off the page. They're going to melt in a little bit, so you're not going to see them so much later. So ink them up again, stamp them off. And then I'm going to mirror that in the bottom here and let them fall off the page. All right. So now I've got this really cool finished panel. And you can see that the color is already starting to pop through. The yellow is down here, the orange is coming through, the pink, and that blend is starting to dry and get chalky. It looks super cool. All right. So now we're just going to add this to a card base and add in our sentiment. Ooh, everybody got all sorts of Concord and Ninth stuff. Excellent. All right, so this panel I have cut down. It's 3.5 by 4 3/4. So there's going to be a big border around the edges, like so. Super pretty. All right, and then our sentiment is dry and ready to go. Now I do still have like a little bit of a line there from my blend. I'm confident that it will fade, but I can always also just put my sentiment right over it. And then I don't have to worry about it at all. There. Okay, last thing. I did want to add some sequins to it. So this is the satin white sequins. And on point glue. So I wanted to go just around the sentiment. I'm going to do my standard 3-point sequins. Have you tried this yet? This is the best way I have found to put sequins on anything. 3 points. If you've got 3 sizes, use your largest and your smallest together, and then your medium size one off to the side in a very tight triangle. It works every time. Well, I'm glad you guys like this card. I got some new sequins mixes from Picket Fence. I'm really excited about it. Oh, and gem mixes too. Oh, gems. Fabulous. There you go, guys. How do I want to do this? There we go. Ta-da! Beautiful cards. Okay, so I got to figure out what's going on with my base camera here. So stand by. I want to do that. Nope, it doesn't like me. It's because I'm using two of the same camera type. These webcams are a little funky. So let's see if I move to the side and I'm going to do that. And it just really decided it was going to stop working. That's a shame. Well, guys, let me see. Hey, there I am. That's fabulous. Well, hey, at least the technical difficulties were not of the important part, which was all of the crafting that we had to do. So, hey, that's a pretty big success, I would say. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the side view. I think it was totally worth it. So I'm going to have to do some playing around and trying to make sure that the cameras all work like they're supposed to as we go through a class. And I will have a really cool feature going forward. Excellent. I have to lay myself on the table. You know, Susie, I thought about that. I was going to like pull the camera up and put my face in it. I wasn't excited about that. Although it would have been really funny. That would have been fabulous. Anyway, hey guys, let's see. So let me run through some questions that you might have here as we go through. Okay, so Ms. Tamp, I totally agree with you. I think you would be able to, okay, so here's an interesting thing. Let me show you. So this is the Ranger one, and it has the staple in it, right? And I agree with you. A lot of times these pop up. You see how mine's not popping up? I added extra glue back behind that, like some E6000 or whatever, and that helped a lot. They don't come up anymore, right? But you could always put a second staple in there from a staple gun. I'm sure that would work just fine. All right, the scrapbook.com ones do not have staples on them, but they are glued from edge to edge and do not come up. Okay, so I mean, yes, I can pry it up with my finger, but it doesn't pull up when you pull the foam off of it. Okay, so that's two ways you can fix that. All right, let's see. Yes, Miss Tam, do you own a vise? So Miss Tam says use a vise to put these in place so that way you can use the staple gun and not staple your hand. Safety first, right? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Penny's husband fixed hers, which is great. Let's see. The Hero Arts Unicorn White. So that's what this one is. This is the Unicorn White. And I really think that between this one and the scrapbook.com white, I think they are both really great formulations and they do great work. Okay, so either way, I don't think you can go wrong. Whichever you prefer and whichever is more readily available to you, right? Gina K, I've not used hers, but I'm sure it's probably very similar. So very cool. Let's see. Cece's going to give it a try. Yes, you have to go into the craft room. I'm looking for questions, Everyone loves the cards, so I'm excited. I hope to see your cards out on social media, so please do share. And you know, don't forget to tag me. If you change up the colors or change up the stamp set, please still just tag me anyway. It still totally counts as sharing. So I'd love to see what you create with it, especially different color combos, different stamp sets. Make it your own, right? Or if you want, if you're really inspired by this and you really love it, go ahead and copy it. Okay. Let's see. Emboss resist with the same design. That would be really cool too. CC found Picket Fence Sequins, which is awesome. I love their sequins. Let's see. Water stamping. Yes, you could. This reminds me of bleach stamping, guys. So I'm very, very similar. You guys are too funny. Nancy, yes, I am planning on meeting for all 5 in July. We'll kind of see how the month goes. We'll be working a little bit on Bloom. So for those of you that have been with me for a while, you'll probably be hearing about that sooner than later. If you've not been with me, but you're on my mailing list, you will be hearing about the Bloom community. If you're not on my mailing list, click on the link below and subscribe to my newsletter. And that will get you information on Bloom as it becomes available. I'm super stoked for it. I think we're going to have an awesome community just based on what we do here. So excellent. All right. Yeah, so I would say Becca was asking about which type of glues to use. So yeah, I think I used E6000 on mine and it seemed to work really well. I think you want something that's going to be a little softer. If you use like a super glue, you're gonna maybe run into problems with it just cracking off. So the E6000 seemed to work well for me. So anyway, guys, I had such a great time with you today. I'm so glad you enjoyed this project. It's a ton of fun. I can't wait to see your projects. So again, don't forget to share and tag me out on social media at Pixel Mavens Retreat. And I will find and share with everyone here next week. Of course, when you do share, that puts you in a drawing to win some of my card samples from the month. So a little incentive for you to share is you can get one of the cards from me too. So for those of you that have shared already this month, your name is in the hat, but please share more because I'd love to see all of your projects. To answer one last question for Sue, yes, I will be continuing these videos. We're probably going to make them shorter because we won't have as many announcements, but they will still be here. So anyway, guys, I am so excited. We're going into July. We're going to have fun with backgrounds next month. So I hope you have a wonderfully crafty weekend. I'm glad to have inspired you with a fun project and some new techniques and ideas. And I will see you next Thursday for more Running with Scissors. Have a great weekend and stay crafty, everyone.